over. 98.5 Speed FM.
Catch us if you can.
Stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. Stay here with you. You are a rainbow, so I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. You are my favorite song. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one. I am a lucky one.
A speedy welcome to the show for everyone. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and the Speed Lane is where we talk about real issues that affect our lives, our families, our communities, and even the society at large. Now, today we are talking about a very important topic, which we started talking about yesterday. One that affects many homes, yet we hardly talk about it openly. Today we are looking at the maltreatment of stepchildren, the maltreatment of the stepchild. Those children who find themselves in blended families under the care of stepparents. We all know families are supposed to be places of love, support, and fairness, but what happens when a child doesn't get the same treatment as their step sibling? What happens when a stepchild faces neglect, unfair discipline, or even emotional rejection simply because they are not the biological child of the parent? This is more than just a family issue. It has deep implications for how children grow, for how relationships, with the home actually works, and even for society's perception of family structures like even polygamy and blended households. So today on the Speed Lane, we are asking one central thought-provoking question: why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? And you also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? What is so hard? Why must they be maltreated? If you go to so many homes, many families struggle with balancing love and fairness when it comes to stepchildren. Sometimes it's subtle and sometimes it's not. Hello.
Yeah, good morning, Marysyntia.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Dennis Ihari. I'm calling from New Jersey.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Dennis.
Yeah, when you talk about stepchildren, it is not different from even the nannies we bring to help us. The parenting these days has made most women who are married to be so lazy, and then relegate their duties to the background. And sometimes you see their own biological children, a girl of 10 does not even know how to wash her pants because the nanny is there.
Okay.
And the danger there is this: you are training somebody else's child. In fact, most times, may my uncle so rest in peace. When I was a kid, I never used to like going on holidays to his place, not because he was wicked, but you go there by 6 a.m. You woke up to go to the farm. You don't come back until in the night. I used to think that he was punishing us, but I never knew he was training us, and he did that to his children as well. So hard work, pays. But once people become so cruel, because to me, I look at it as cruelty when you don't want the stepchild or the other person's child that is with you not to go to school, or even you discriminate them not eating from the same plate. You don't know that in most cases, I've seen many of such children become more successful in life than even the people who were given and pampered and think that this thing. So people should know that as we do our own here, God is doing his own different. Because the child that you treat well, whether you like it or not, if you remove 10 years from your own present age, and you would have known that you were much younger, and maybe dreams you had, some of them have not come to reality. Another 10 years from now, that's how you'll be getting weaker, and the person you think you're maltreating today is coming up. So people should learn to, once somebody is in your care, be the person, your stepchild, your biological child, or even the child of the one that you brought to help your wife with the chores in the house. Treat them equally. In most cases, these are the children that even come back to take care of you in your old age. Because any child that's in your care, if you treat the child well, there's no way the child will forget where you're coming from. Something happened, I think 2 weeks back in my community where I live. There is this man whose wife had a female child before. And before they got married. And that female child became an adult and had a relationship. The person didn't marry her properly, so he was not even able to even take care. The man accepted those children, trained her from kindergarten up to university, and the girl today is doing well today in Abuja as a multi-millionaire. She came for her traditional marriage to the person who is the foster father. Her father is still alive, but he came there, he was just a spectator because the man took care of her. So you will not, you could see that the man who is biologically her father was there, but the pride you would have said, okay, now this is my daughter, was not there. So had it been the man didn't treat her well, I don't think she would have given him that honor to bring her, the people who are going to marry her to his house. The whole of this the whole of this event took place in the foster father. In this case, he is marrying her grandmother, and he took care of her like his own. So once you have a child that is under you, take care of that child. You don't know what that child will come out to be tomorrow, and the child will make you proud.
All right.
So people should learn to love children. They are gifts from God.
All right. All right.
No child will just want to be a foster or a stepchild. But sometimes circumstances could happen, and if you are in that position to be with them, treat them just like you would treat your own, and God will bless you for that.
All right.
Thank you, and have a good day.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Dennis, for calling in to be part of the show. this morning. If you've just joined us, this is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And this morning we are talking about maltreatment of the stepchild. You know, stepchildren, when maybe one parent is the biological parent and then the other parent is not the biological, the step parent. And then why is there always maltreatment? Why is it so difficult for families, most families to treat stepchildren equally? And you also can call in to be part of this conversation. And the number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 08084 275 It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? What is making it so hard to actually have that same love that you have for your own biological children, and to have it for your stepchildren as well? If you got married to that person, then you must be willing to actually take care of their own children. You have that agreement that these children are also under you, or you're serving as a mother to them as well, even if it might not be the case biologically, or you're serving as a father to them, even if that might not be the case biologically. But why do they have to suffer for decisions that they probably weren't present for, or they didn't even influence? Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? And we heard from Mr. Dennis, and he gave some examples of stories where it turned out that that child that was being ignored or was maltreated because that wasn't your biological child. It turned out that maybe they became something. And then I like the way he's giving some of these realistic examples, because sometimes you never know what that child is going to become. And even if they don't become something that maybe aligns with what you would have expected, but then you're going to grow old, and sometimes you're going to need someone's help. And even if you don't need someone's help later, or you feel like you're not going to need anything, what about humanity? What did those children do? Why do they have to be treated like that? Because they are stepchildren. It's something that is unfair. And I also like how Mr. Dennis also said, sometimes you're giving more choice, to the stepchildren, and he mentioned that even nannies, some of those people that are picked inclusive, when they bring someone, come and help us, things like that is done. But then he is saying that sometimes you're busy training someone else's child, and thinking, you're pampering yours, and then allowing the other person to do all their work, even come and clean their mouth when they finish eating, things like that. But then it turns out that, at the end of the day, that stepchild of yours, gets to learn and gets to maybe be even independent, how to do something on their own. So what if you're not there? Would your child now become the one to maybe talk to their stepbrother? You have to continue doing this. Life doesn't remain the same, because they are going to grow up, and maybe you might not even be in the picture at that time. So why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? You also can call in to be part of this conversation, and the number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. If you came up, as the stepchild, or you have step siblings, you can tell us how it was, from your perspective, how the treatment was, how you felt, because sometimes people do some of these things not knowing that this child feels a certain kind of way, and some children even start plotting things like trying to maybe even harm the biological children, their step brothers, step sisters, because they feel like the treatment from the parents are not fair. So why not take it out on my step siblings? And so tell us from your perspective. And even as a parent, with a stepchild, let us hear, what is that difficult part, that is hard to accept, that makes these children get maltreated, that you have to maybe pour out. Some persons tell you that it's because of the father's mistake, it's because of the mother's mistake. He went on to marry another wife, and I cannot do anything to the wife, so I have to maybe pour this anger on the child. I have to now channel everything to the child, but then that child was not part of those decisions. So why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally. Number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? What makes it so hard to actually give those children the same rights, that the biological children get? Sometimes even the parent who is the biological parent of that child starts to forget, okay, because the wife that I married that gave me these children is no longer here, I now prefer this one more, or this one is my favorite child, favorite wife, so this child becomes my favorite child as well. Things like that, forgetting that there is an innocent child in the picture. All of these decisions, all of these plots, all of these things, all of this maltreatment is done to an innocent person who did not plan to come and face a life like that. It was a decision of the parents, and somehow he or she is suffering the consequences. Now, there are many reasons that this happens. Some parents feel jealous or threatened by the bond that their spouse has with their biological children. Some persons say, like, why is it that this one is very close to the child? I am the first wife, or I am the last wife. I am supposed to be pampered, but somehow he's closer to this person, and I have to do something. Maybe I have to try to maybe put out my own hate on the child, on my stepchild, because and somehow maybe even influence my spouse into hating him as well, because I feel challenged. Like, this person, I don't want to share that love. But then when you marry, sometimes when you get married to someone, you already know the situation. Before they take some of these decisions, you're already aware of it. So it's now left for you, if you're going to accept it and stay, well, you accept it. And if you don't, then it's still your decision. But people fully knowing that, okay, this is the situation, they accept the situation, and then later turn out to channel that anger and hate towards the stepchild, knowing fully well that it is not their fault. And we talk about others, influenced by cultural expectations or fear that showing too much love might undermine their authority, in the home, and then make it start to look like, well, that person still matters, or it is that other family, the other wife and the child, or the other dad and the child. Those are the persons that still matter more, or they can make more, they can influence more decisions than myself. That is from the place of that parent who feels jealous, or who feels threatened. So some of these things actually contribute as well. Well, you also can call in to be part of this conversation and tell us why you think it's so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally. Number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Call in and let us hear from your opinion. And if you hello. Yes, good morning. Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Godwin, calling from Plateau State.
All right. What part of Plateau State, Godwin?
Sorry, what do you say, ma?
What part of Plateau State are you calling from?
In Kwampan, local government area.
Okay. How are you people doing over there?
The program you are discussing is very, very special and very interesting, because that thing is normally affect the life of people.
Okay.
It can affect the life of the parents, and it can also affect, which is very, very bad. And I'm very happy that you are enlightening people on that kind of thing.
You're welcome. Go on.
For example, that thing had happened with one of my brother. My uncle, one of my uncles, was maltreating him, and one day a child suffered by himself, and now seriously, just of recent 1 month ago, I heard that he got into a work that is very, very important of physical support. Even me, I can survive from.
Oh, okay, Godwin, you can still call us back. Number for you to call to be part of the show is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. Call in and be part of the show. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And this morning we are talking about maltreatment of the stepchild. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Why is it so hard for them to actually get that same treatment? What is so hard, from the perspective of that step parent, or even from the biological parent who has a child like that in their presence? Maybe they brought in another wife, maybe they brought in, maybe they are married to another husband, things like that. What makes it so difficult? Knowing that that child is an innocent child, he or she still goes through some form of maltreatment. And we talk about various ways, this maltreatment happen, maybe denying access to quality education or even better schools. We have the biological children of both parents maybe going to a particular school, but then when it comes to the stepchild, he or she has to go to the school that is probably not functioning. Or even when they are going to that school, like, you are still calling them like, come on, you cannot complete your own school, you have to come and then do this kind of work, you have to do this, you have to do that. Or even giving less or lower quality of food compared to the biological children. Now, people actually do this, and the sad part of it is that there are people who watch things like this happen but don't say anything. Like, people just take it like it's supposed to be a normal thing, or that child is just unfortunate because she or he is not the biological child of that woman, so that is the fate that he has to suffer. No one even sees that, okay, this maltreatment has gotten out of hand and it's become a case where it even has to be reported. It is just completely overlooked. Society keeps looking at it as a normal thing, but then there is an innocent child in the picture who is suffering these consequences for what he or she did not plan, for what he or she did not decide. Now, and even excluding them from family activities or even celebrations, like, okay, there is going to be your father's birthday party is today, but then maybe the stepmom says, well, you are going to stay inside and not be part of, because I don't want people seeing your face at this event because you are my stepchild. Let my biological children shine and you just be inside. And maybe in that situation, that who is not paying attention might not even notice that, okay, my child is not here. Probably maybe my first child or whatever, when that child comes in is not even there. Or maybe the wife just convinces, like, okay, you don't have to look for this person, the rest are here. Or even says a lie, like that person refuses to come. Things like this actually happen. And also maybe even giving harsher punishment. Some people, maybe for a crime that all the children committed, only the stepchild is somehow punished. Like, that is the only person that gets the harsher treatment. That is the person that gets most of the beating, and the rest are just told, I have told you to stop doing this. Or they just say, well, it is this person that influenced you to do something like this, limiting access to healthcare. When the biological child is fine, is sick, then it's a problem. But if the stepchild is sick, then it is not a problem. Showing that favoritism towards biological children in terms of even attention, even in terms of gifts or opportunities, denying emotional support, affection, or comfort during difficult times, or even forcing the child to do excessive chores. Just like Mr. Dennis mentioned earlier, sometimes, forcing that child to do excessive chores or even labor not expected of other children. And, sometimes these children are so young, but they have to go through things like this. So call in and let us hear from you. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Call in and be part of the show this morning. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, Marysyntia.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Uda Kelvin, calling from Makodi, George's Quarters.
Welcome to the show, Kelvin.
Thank you. Precisely, most of this maltreatment comes from the wives, the women remarry.
Okay.
And, disciplining a child is a normal thing, but sometimes when you overgive a little child work to do that is beyond him or her, then that's no longer discipline or house chores. And the case whereby sometimes the man have to, like, it looks as if he's loving or caring for the stepchild more than maybe the current wife's children. Is maybe because of the current wife's character, and then sometimes, most children now, the men are always around, and then most children now they spend more time with their mothers. And if you get married to a wife that has no good character to give to the children, most of them now turn up growing and then acting like her. And then you as a man now, maybe that your wife that you married before and then you lost her, but your children are still alive. Maybe her own situation was different, and then you'll be like, oh, these kids now are not like my former wife's kids, and then naturally you develop this love and care for the other children. And then doing this, your current wife now can get jealous, just as you just already said, jealousy. Out of jealousy and everything, then you see the maltreatment coming in. You get. And people talk about if you bring in somebody in your house and then you're disciplining the person, him or her. There's nothing wrong about that. But some of these people that do this thing beyond disciplining a child.
Okay.
Just imagine you okay. There's a limit where even if you're spanking a child or you're beating a child, there's a limit where you beat a child that somebody knows that this one is discipline. But when you go above that or beyond that, then that's maltreatment. Okay. Yes. So let me say jealousy is just a part of it, and that's just an example of jealousy of what brings in the jealousy that I've just given him. So I will urge that we try to reduce the maltreatment we give to our stepchildren to actually help the society and the community at large.
All right. All right. Let me ask you a question. So how do you think this actually affects, those children themselves and even the parents, even coming to society at large?
These things affect the children emotionally. Sometimes they can't even go out and then speak out for themselves, because when you are being maltreated in a place you feel it's your own house, the first place you think you should have freedom is your home, is your family. So when you can't even have that freedom in your own home, then there's no way you go out and then you will be able to be bold and then feel yes. So it affects the children emotionally. And most of these things start when these children are 6 months. So they are growing with this maltreatment and they are growing with this stagnation. And before you get to the age of teenage age and then adulthood now, you can't even associate with people outside there, and they can't even speak up for yourself when you go outside. So emotionally, it damage the kid. Okay,
all right.
Yeah.
All right. Yes. Thank you so much, Kelvin, for calling in to be part of the show this morning. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM, and I am your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and this morning we are talking about the maltreatment of the stepchild. Why is it so difficult for families to treat their stepchildren equally? You also can call in to be part of this conversation. Hello. And the number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat their stepchildren equally? Why is the biological child getting gifts and getting the full attention while the stepchildren are completely ignored, getting harsher punishment, not given the same access, even to education, to healthcare, the same privileges that those biological children get? Why is it so difficult for families to also give that to the stepchildren? Call in and let us hear from you. And we heard from Kelvin, and first he said that something like this is most common with women, when they are stepmothers. But then that doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Men are stepfathers too, women are sometimes get married to even more. Maybe sometimes when someone loses their husband, they get married to another, or even when their husband is still their ex-husband at that time is still alive, they still get married to others. But he says this is most common with women, and he mentioned jealousy as the leading cause of this maltreatment. Jealousy, and I like something that he spoke about a lot. We know sometimes when the man looks like he's caring more than, I like the example he gave. It can be either ways, whether it's the woman or the man, but let's use this example that he gave. When the man looks like he's caring more for the child, who is the stepchild to that wife, the recent wife, when the man looks like he's paying more attention to that child, who is the stepchild to the wife that is now present, then it becomes a problem. Like, why are you paying attention to this one more than the children you and I have? I mean, this is the present, or I am the new wife, I am the new husband. Why are you paying more attention to that child? And he says sometimes maybe Kelvin said sometimes maybe that husband is doing it out of the love, maybe for the former wife, sometimes because some of these situations just happen. Maybe the wife passed away, or you did not do fine. Hello,
good afternoon. Good morning, ma'am.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm Stephen calling from Boko Road.
All right, welcome to the show, Stephen.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Well, according to the topic that is on ground, I think my perception on this is that first and foremost, you have to understand the person in question, most especially when you talk about stepmothers, they feel insecure, most especially when they have their stepchildren, because first and foremost, they look at the issue. Perhaps inheritance issue is one factor. It's one factor. Two, you have to look at the woman in question, because one, some of this jealousy are natural, but then we have to understand the fact that children are gifts, and at the same time, they don't understand the fact that when you have a child, despite it's not a child, it's still your child, that you're supposed to take care of those child, that tomorrow, like somebody, I think the first speaker talked about something, that sometimes these people come back. So the fact that sometimes some people don't understand this at all, and they go out of their way, begin to maltreat. Two, perhaps the child might have something that the other child does not have. Maybe the stepchild might have something, some kind of trait, some kind of gift that make the other ones to be jealous. So see, sometimes this whole thing comes into place, and they begin to envy. I think maltreatment comes with envy. Let me just use that. And begins to envy. The child again. When we talk about maybe the parents of the stepchild. Perhaps there is something that must have transpired before, and the stepmother want to take it on that stepchild, which is not supposed to be so. So, but when you look at it generally, normally, when you look at it, people will always have that sense of insecurity. But it's how you suppress that thing and understand the fact that that child is your child. Irrespective, despite it's not from you, but you are there to contribute for that child, because if you contributed to that child's development and whatever it is, tomorrow he or she gives back to you, gives back to your children. But some people don't look at it, and so sometimes our selfishness, our greed, and all whatever make us to be short-sighted of tomorrow. So this whole thing comes into play because there's that element of envy or element of jealousy, or maybe the existing and nursing and wound and whatever it is that the child of. Even if you look at this, sometimes it goes beyond that. Especially the female folks, the girls. Maybe a stepdaughter to a stepfather. Sometimes they go as far as abusing. Of course, we know that. Sometimes, so when you look at this whole thing, because it's not my child, let me abuse each other and whatever it is. So I think a lot of things like that. I think parents need to be educated. We need to understand the fact that every child deserve discipline, deserve to be treated like a child. That whatever you have, for whatever thing you have for your own child, you should be able to dish out to other people's and children, because we are all parents. So there's one thing people say, you when you give a birth to a child, it's not you that is the parent to that child alone. Everybody around. So definitely the same thing. So I think if we begin to think towards that direction, things will be okay. But then the female stepchild to a female father. Well, I mean, to a male, to
the father.
To a man.
Yes.
I think I've seen some that the man abuses the dog.
Okay. Oh, okay. We cannot hear you any longer, Stephen. But then, thank you for calling in to be part of the show this morning. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and we're talking about maltreatment of the stepchild. Hello.
Hello, good morning, Marysyntia Hangeior.
Yes, good morning to you, sir. Tell us your name.
My name is Edward Oragwa. I'm calling from your jingle in my house.
Welcome to the show, Mr. Edward.
Yeah, thank you very much. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. I want to agree totally with the last speaker.
Okay.
What I said is what actually plays out in most homes. Maltreatment of a stepchild most of the times is in two folds. On the side of particularly on the side of women. You know, when you got married to a wife and the wife leaves or dies or divorce or whatever, and you marry another wife, the new wife now feels unsecured. But these children are grown, and my children are young, and if it comes to inheritance, I may not have the right to inherit anything or stuff like that. So that jealousy crops in naturally.
Okay.
And then on the other side, the child who is now has lost his mother, or the mother is no longer with the father, will now be feeling insecure on his or her part that because she's not my mother that she's doing this. Sometimes the woman may not be doing, having that tendencies, but the child may just be having that feeling of insecurity. And sometimes the children may decide to be rude, to be stubborn to the new wife. So this thing is something that actually happens. That's what I said on my side. I always tell my wife, even when we have issues, I always tell her that, look, even if you leave me now, you leave and go, I'm not going to marry another wife. I will never marry another wife. Even if you die, whatever happens, I am not marrying another wife because I love my children.
Okay.
I love them, and I don't want a situation where my children will be living in their own house as if they are visitors.
Okay.
I've seen a large number of instances where children are like they are visitors in their own legitimate homes.
Okay.
Because of the second wife that I have brought. So to me, I think it will never be a case. It will never happen to me. I will never marry a second wife. I will never marry a second wife. And I think men should imbibe that culture. Because if you love your children, look after them.
Okay.
Even if your wife, yeah.
Okay.
So that is just for me. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much.
I love the program.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Edward.
Parents are also listening.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you for calling in to be part of the show. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and we are talking about the maltreatment of the stepchild and why it's so difficult for families to actually treat stepchildren equally. And we heard from Mr. Edward, who said, well, it's twofold. Like, it can be a stepfather, it can be a stepmother, and he also mentions that it's mostly the women, maybe marrying a new wife and then bringing in, and saying that he would not introduce a new wife even if something happens to his wife, or maybe issues go out of hand. That's personal decision. But even if it is a choice of someone to maybe introduce a new wife or even a new husband, I think that is not the problem. The problem is actually ensuring that love actually still flows, like the love is distributed equally. Even because I come from a polygamous home, and then I have never seen a situation whereby maybe it's because of this wife was present, that is why it's the problem. Most of the time it's not that it's because a new person was introduced that the problem is. It's the kind of person, and also the way maybe you as the husband, like people are saying, okay, it's mostly the wife, you as the husband, the way, okay, the kind of love that the woman has for you, or the kind of respect, or the way that you have said, okay, this is how it should actually flow in the home, this is what should happen, or this is the way that the love should be. Because sometimes you find that even the men, okay, ignoring the fact that, okay, my wife is treating my child like this simply because she is not the biological mother. Sometimes if you're not paying that much attention, it might not be you doing the maltreatment, but then it's possible that you're experiencing that, or it's happening right under your roof, but then you're not saying anything about it. So maybe it might be someone's choice to have, okay, I want to get remarried, after my wife passes, or because me and my wife are no longer in good terms, or whatever reasons, or my husband, whatever reasons people have. But that is not the problem. The problem is allowing these decisions to actually bear consequences that the children in the picture are now having to maybe go through that maltreatment simply because you are unable to make them secure in that house, to make sure that, okay, they are not getting that maltreatment, like the love is flowing. Because there's a way that you, even as the head of the house, like there's a way that you pay so much attention that even the woman, that people are saying, okay, as the woman actually knows that, well, I cannot mess with this child because their father will not allow it happen. So everyone has to be present for that child. And also there are good women out there who look at it like, okay, this one is my stepchild. Like if I have any issues I might be having the issues with the dad, not the child, because the child in the picture is innocent, and that is what we are going to keep emphasizing on. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And this morning we are talking about maltreatment of the stepchild. You also can call in to be part of this conversation and tell us why it's so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally. And the number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. It's 0808 427 5464. Why is it so difficult for families to treat stepchildren equally? Call in and let us hear from you, whether from the perspective of a stepchild yourself, whether you're a stepmother, a stepdad. And earlier we heard from Stephen as well, and he mentioned that it comes from insecurity, and especially these inheritance issues, just like even Mr. Edward mentioned, thinking that I have to make sure that this child is out of the picture so that my children don't have to suffer, okay, inheritance issues like who is going to take their father's properties, who is going to have this, who is going to have that. So I have to make sure that maybe this child is hated, or I have to maltreat them now, because at the end of the day they might end up inheriting some of these things, and then they just go scot-free. So I have to do whatever I have to do now that they are still younger. I have to maltreat them because they are going to get everything anyway. Now that is a wrong mentality, and just like some persons are saying, sometimes when it happens like that, what if that child grows up and then maybe you need them to take care of you? It's someone that you took care of that will be willing to stay back and then look after you at old age. And also Mr. Steven mentioned that people, human beings in general, have this sense of insecurity. It just depends on how you're able to suppress it. And also he gave another thing on stepfather's side, because most people have been saying, okay, it's mostly the women. Okay, if we look at society, truly it's mostly the women who become maybe stepmoms. But then talk about fathers as well, stepfathers as well. He mentioned abuse. This person is not my biological father. There is nothing wrong with having this kind of relationship with that child, knowing that she is a child. Then there is nothing wrong with trying to do this, trying to do that, because they are not my biological children. Like they came from another man, with that woman, and then I can do anything. So yes, abuses like that also happen, which is something that should not be happening, because it is just not the right thing to do. Hello. Yes, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Yeah, tell us your name and where you're calling from.
My name is Ruth. I'm calling from International Market Side.
Welcome to the show, Ruth. We are talking
Ma,
about.
the reason,
Go on.
the reason why the parents here don't treat the stepchildren equally with their own children is because blood is always thicker than the water.
Okay.
And you don't have, like, you can't tell the stepmom to treat the child equally with the person's children. But if anyhow the person do, the child will also feel that that's not my mother, that's not my father. So there's always that gap here. So you can't tell the mother to treat the children equally with their own children because the space is always there.
Okay. All right.
Thank you, ma.
Thank you so much, Ruth, for calling in to be part of the show this morning. This is the Speed Lane on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And I'm your host on the show. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior. And this morning we are talking about maltreatment of the stepchild. You also can call in quickly to be part of this conversation. Number for you to call is 08084 asking. That is 0808 427 5464. And we heard from Ruth, and she said, well, blood is thicker than water. You know that saying that is always either making things to go positive way or even negative way. Sometimes it breaks things, sometimes it makes things, and it sounds powerful. It sounds like something we have all grown up hearing. The idea that family by blood should come first, that the bond is stronger, deeper, and maybe even more important than any other relationship. But let's really think about it for a moment. If blood is thicker than water, does that mean that the love should be limited? Does it mean that care, attention, and even fairness should only go to those who share your blood? If you accepted the man as your husband, you should be willing to accept those children because maybe you knew that they were in the picture, or you decided to stay even when that decision was made, right? Because in many homes today, that mindset is exactly what creates the gap between children. Hello.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Tell us your name and where you're calling from.
I'm calling from Makodi.
All right, welcome to the show, Chrisman.
Thank you.
Yeah, go on.
You just mentioned you should be treated equal. For me, my kind of person, I see everybody as one. I don't even value that that saying that say blood is thicker than water. Not now that people will say blood is thicker than water. That blood you think is thicker than water, maybe that blood will even turn to be the enemy of water.
Okay.
Yeah, so just if you accept the woman to be your wife, then just knowing that you're going to accept the children that the woman has as well. If you think you love the woman to be your wife, why not just you know that this woman, she has children or she has a child, before you go with her, before you accept to marry her or to be with her. So why not just accept that belongs to her as a child?
Okay.
Not property or any other resources, but sorry, talking about human. You get so to me, it doesn't involve resources. To me, the blood is just still one. I will treat you if I say okay, I will marry you and I know that yes, you have a child. Believe me, I'm going to accept your child and I'm going to treat your child like the way I would treat my own child that maybe I give birth to for me. So I will not see that you give birth to a child for another man, then I will treat him or her like nobody or to me. If the society can work on that, it's good though.
All right.
Especially the men.
All right.
The men.
All right.
Yeah, so the men should just take caution of that. Thank you, guys.
All right. Thank you so much, Chrisman, for calling in to be part of the show this morning. And he was countering that statement, blood is thicker than water, that like I was saying, because that is where the problem comes in. When we hide behind statements like that, it's quietly justify on equal treatment. It can make it seem normal that one child gets more love, more care, more patience. Blood stabs blood. We keep saying blood is thicker than water, but then blood stabs blood. And if you're willing to enter into a home, then you must be willing to accept those children. You must be willing to ensure that every child in that house is feels the love. On the sides of maybe the biological parents parent, you must ensure that you're not creating a situation, or you're not ignoring a situation where that child is treated poorly. And also, as the step parent, then you must try to give that same love, that equal love that you are given to your own biological child, to that stepchild as well, because they didn't choose to be there, but you decided to stay, or you chose to be there yourself. And that's it for the speed lane today. We have been talking about maltreatment of the stepchild, and I've been with you on the show this morning. My name is Marysyntia Hangeior, and also do not go too far, because coming up next at 10 a.m. is King James 90s Top 10 right here on Asking Radio 98.5 Speed FM. And as you go about the rest of your day, don't forget to remember that love in a home should not be measured by blood, but by fairness.
Hello, my cutie. Asking Radio is here. Tell everyone you know the way